It's action. It's drama. It's comedy. It's DCN, the superhero webcomic. DCN's got superhero antics and sexy girls. Read it now at DCN.com. DASIEN.com.
When my father disappeared and Mother Brain tried to take over Videoland, our only hope lay in an ancient prophecy that a great warrior from another world would come to our rescue. I admit, I was a bit skeptical when Kevin showed up. But now, I don't know how we'd ever get along without him.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Pixels in the Animation. I am one of your hosts, TFJone Mike, and joining me in this epic journey is TV's Mr. Neil.
Oh boy, another fun week of Captain N.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Well, at least one of these episodes kind of had me a little exasperated.
Well, at least it's not Rappin' Koopa.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, so far, most of the episodes, I've really enjoyed most of them. I'd say here in episode 27, and next time when we do episode 28, there's going to be kind of like a not so much of enjoyment, but they're not horrible. But while the Donkey Kong children run through the podcast, we actually have a couple of new reviews on iTunes. Cosmic Psycho, who originally gave us a review saying he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to listen through all 100 episodes, he changed his review and says, "Give it a chance. 5-star review. This was left on January 27th. Sorry, we're only getting to it now. When I started this podcast, I wasn't sure if I would be able to keep listening through the whole 100 planned episodes. I'm glad I stuck in there. While Super Mario Super Show was painful to listen to, The Legend of Zelda was a big change of pace, and now we hear about Captain and the Game Master. I'm eagerly awaiting each new podcast episode. Keep up the great work, guys, and I look forward to when you get to Sonic the Hedgehog. P.S. If you want a guest host for Sonic, I'm available." And the super fan of the GCRN, Jeremy Fine, says, "Hey, paisanos, it's Pixels in the Animation." 5-star review. This was left on February 6th. Mike and TV's Mr. Neil discuss some of the worst cartoons that ever aired attempting to sell video games. We're not tackling Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, so there is that.
or the Street Fighter cartoon.
Oh God, no.
Or the what is it? What's the one with the vampire and the? It's related to Street Fighter. God, I can't believe I can't remember the name of this. It's Night Warriors or Darkstalkers. That's what I'm thinking of.
Darkstalkers, yeah.
That was awful.
The cartoons were awful. The SMB live segments were embarrassing. However, the hosts are able to carry on and do their best to review some of the worst cartoons in animation history. For what it's worth, Captain N tried for a few episodes, and you have to give the host credit for having to sit through these episodes. Who deserves the high score now? Mike and TV's Mr. Neil, that's who. So thank you for the iTunes reviews. The only reason why it has taken us this long to get to the newer iTunes reviews, to reading them on the air, is because we pre-record a lot of the episodes just to get them out of the way. I remember when we were doing the Super Mario show, it was like, hey, let's do the first 4 episodes, which is like first 4 episodes of the podcast, which was like 12 episodes of the show in one shot.
Oh.
So other than that, what else have you been up to?
I'm actually moving my website, so that's been a lot of fun. I'm racing, get a lot of comics done, and so I haven't really had a lot of time online, if you probably noticed.
Yeah. I haven't seen you on Facebook all that much lately.
Yeah, I've been got a pretty good deal on a new web host, so I'll be moving off of both Drunk Duck and Comic Genesis. Since they both, one of them seems to be really broken, and the other one is kind of like there's really no community there. So
interesting.
Yes.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about 3 more episodes, this time from Captain N Season 2, and we'll get to that after this.
This was a great idea! To just kick back and have a picnic. Thanks for inviting us, Princess Zelda.
You two are always welcome on Hyrule, Captain N.
Sounds like we have some uninvited guests. Boons!
Oh no, there goes the picnic!
We're not gonna let a few bugs spoil our day, are we, Link?
No way!
Eat Zapper, Fuzzface! Piece of cake.
Dr. Gary, I found the power source we tracked in this world.
Goody, Count Roman. I'll prepare the time ship for re-energizing.
Alright, first up today is Once Upon a Time Machine. Count Grumon... wait, what would his Digi-Evolve form be? Oh my god, as soon as I saw that name I thought of Digimon. Holy crap. Steals Kevin's Power Pad and Zapper in Hyrule, so he and Link set out to the world of Puss in Boots to get them back. Along with the help of Pyro the Cat, we have elements from Zelda 2, Puss in Boots, and Pyro's Great Adventure. Thoughts on the plot?
There was a plot.
Well, you know,
I guess
it's standard.
Yeah,
but...
it's kind of cookie cutter, but yeah, I guess it's functional. I guess. See, the whole time I was thinking of like the Puss in Boots anime, which is this is sort of based on, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know everyone's familiar with Puss in Boots from Shrek, but this is actually based on the anime. That's why his name is Pyro. Pyro refers to the anime Puss in Boots, and it's a very strange anime if you've ever seen it. It's like it was produced in like the 60s or something, and I sent Mike a couple of pictures, one from like the game cartridge where you see the actual character, and one from the end credits of Transformers, because you at the end of like season 1 and season 2 you see that face, the Pyro the Cat. That's what that is. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so knowing who this character was, I watched this episode, I'm like, this is a really strange adaptation, but it's better than another adaptation that we'll be talking about later, so.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, for me, the plot, I've seen plots like this before. This is basically, and we'll actually have this again, I think, is it this time around or is it next time? It's it'll be in episode 28 that we do this again, but it's basically the reluctant hero or the rogue hero that doesn't really want to do the right thing but will do the right thing in the end.
Right.
So there is that. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little romp. I knew the whole time that Pyro was going to eventually attempt to double-cross them or had some sort of hidden agenda. I mean, it's, this is Captain N after all, and this is Deke Entertainment after all. There's not a lot of substance to plots in these cartoons, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was interesting to have an episode completely nothing to do with Mother Brain and Metroid. Right. I really liked that about it, so that was good. All right, we're going to go grab our power pads in a moment.
Oh, please! You gotta help me! I'm at my rope's end!
I got you good!
Hey, why don't you pick on somebody your own size?
Why don't you mind your own business, you mangy human?
I'm making this my business.
Then let's see you slap leather.
Oops, I forgot. No zapper. Whoa! Somehow it's just not the same without my power pad.
Hey, you spilled my milk.
Going my way?
Wait, what about me?
I always was a sucker for an underdog. Or should I say an undercat? Adios, amigos!
I hope the boss doesn't find out we let that darn cat get away.
Alright, put those power pads down. First of all, love the Zelda Link Captain N team up again. That's awesome.
Right.
I did at first think that the mystery behind all the villains was interesting because we didn't know. There was a lot of misdirects here. I mean, sure, they did show us kind of who the true villain is going to be, but for a while, for the first, I'd say maybe 4 minutes of the cartoon, there were a little bit of misdirects because I wasn't sure whether Pyro was going to be good, bad, indifferent, whatever. And one of the reasons why I like Pyro in this is because, hey, it's Cheetor before he was Cheetor. Ian James Corlett voices.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Absolutely love it. So awesome. Which it makes sense, though. I'm just waiting. I don't think it ever happens, but I'm just waiting for Scott McNeil to show up because we've got Gary Chalk as King Hippo and various other characters. We've got Ian James Corlett as Dr. Wily for the most part, and and like in this case with Pyro, he plays some other characters. So I'm just waiting for more of the Beast Wars crew to show up in this cartoon. Well, I guess they had to give the snake some sort of name, Long John Slither.
Oh. What a weird non sequitur that was. Although I suppose that's in the game. But still, that was just kind of weird.
And I felt like, because I think the animation changed because they're using time warps instead of warp zones. The animation on the warp designs changed. The whole time I was watching this episode, I felt like I was watching someone play through Turtles 4, Turtles in Time.
Oh, yeah.
I really did, because if you look at the scene where they go from, I think it's the town, to the ship, that's kind of what they do at some point in the Turtles in Time game, where they go from, like, a jungle to the pirate ship, and et cetera, et cetera. What?
I didn't even put that together. Yeah, it is kind of like Turtles in Time. They even end up in New York.
Yeah, they do. Oh, man, can you imagine if 87 Turtles crossed over with Captain N? It would be so much better than the Power Rangers in Space live-action crossover with Next Mutation. Oh, boy. So, kind of like a final thought on this, a good moment for me was I had written down that I really enjoyed this one. It was a fun time travel episode with Link and Zelda and others, plus a whole new cast of characters, and it was mega rad not to have a Mother Brainicus episode.
And on that note, it was also nice to not have Kid Icarus in the episode.
Well, Kid Icarus and Mega Man were at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So, briefly. They didn't get too much screen time. What did you like about this one?
Well, I have only one note here, and I have it written down. The Danger Zone sound-alike song that's in this, and then I have LOL followed by, like, 5 exclamation points. And it's actually awful, but it made me laugh, so I put it under stuff that I like.
Yeah, I was like, hey, wait a second. We'll have another one of those moments next in 2 weeks when we do episode 28, because there's...
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Alright, we're gonna go get zapped after this.
Come on, we gotta get to your warp and my power pad.
We can't let them get to the time ship.
Don't worry, my pet python is hungry for supper.
Cook up the catnip, Mom. I'll be home for supper. His supper.
It is time to get zapped. Come on, Kevin. Why would you be that cocky and give up? I get it, it's part of the plot, but come on. they actively say at some point somewhere that he has been in video land. Like, I think after like in season 1, after like the 6th or 7th episode, in the actual timeline of the cartoon itself, he's been there for at least a year or maybe more.
Well, in another episode that's coming up, like I don't remember which episode, they still say that he's been there for about a year.
Yeah. And see, that's the other thing is they make this big point of having Kevin get his zapper stolen, get his Power Pad and zapper stolen, and then after Link says, "Aha! I knew I smelled a cat," Kevin shows up with his Power Pad and zapper around his waist, and that is one huge animation error. You can barely make it out in the first. There was the first part of the scene that I was like, did they put that back? And then like 5 seconds later, they showed an up-close shot of him with it on him. And he still says, "I gotta get my Power Pad and zapper back. Look down, you idiot." Maybe you can tell me this. I know it's not Mega Move. I know it's not any Mario music. It might be. I love the music when they're taking off in the ship.
Yeah.
It sounds so friggin' cool, and it sounds like it could be Mega Man music or something along those lines. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. It might be something from the Puss in Boots video game, but I don't know. I've never played that game.
Yeah. What didn't you like about this one?
Well, on the note of him losing his belt, I thought it was kind of stupid that he was like, at the beginning of the episode, they're attacked by some enemies from Zelda 2. I don't know what they are, but they take the picnic lunch that they had. So Kevin's like, "Well, I can get our picnic back without my zap or power pad." So he takes them off. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. And even stupider is that the two villains were right there. The two villains for this particular episode, I should say. Mm-hmm. And apparently their plan was to steal it anyway, but it's like they just sat there and waited for him to take it off. I'm like, was that their plan? Eventually he'll get cocky and take it off.
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm like, that's weird. But, it's 80s cartoons, or I guess 90s at this point.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
No, this is one of those episodes where I didn't really enjoy it, but I didn't really have anything specific that I didn't like. I just kind of sat there stone-faced, like, there have been better episodes than this.
All right, let's move on to the next episode.
24, 46, 32. Height. Whoa. Heads up, Simon.
That boy, do tackle him!
Let go of me, you fiendish furball!
I'm going for the goal! Hey!
My wit's gonna whoop you any day!
Initiating defense maneuver.
Hey! Whatever happened to playing by the rules?
This'll recover that fumble.
Not if I can help it!
Warning, warning, system overload. Prepare to abandon game.
Looks like we blew a fuse.
Guess we'll have to find another warp home from here.
Up next is the Feud of Faxanadu.
Faxanadu. This is a weird sort of episode. It's just I saw it and I was like, what? Because Faxanadu is a fairly straightforward NES RPG / adventure game, and I watched it. I'm like, okay, one guy. There is kind of a conflict between the elves and the dwarves in the game, but in the cartoon, one guy is Elvis for some reason, and like the Queen of the Dwarves is like Kyle Brodlowski's mom or something. I don't know. And I'm like, what? This is even weirder than Puss in Boots. And I'm just like, where did they get this? Because I'm loosely familiar with the Xanadu series. It's like, okay, it has nothing to do with the Olivia Newton-John, Gene Kelly movie, and it's actually loosely based, connected with another video game series called Dragon Slayer, which is not Dragon's Lair. It's completely different, but it's like, I don't know how they got this. I mean, I suppose they read the plot synopsis in the game manual, maybe, but like other than that, this like I don't get where they got this.
Yeah. So, a power overload in the Palace of Power's football arena warps the N team to Faxanadu, where they find themselves amidst a conflict between elves and dwarfs, and an evil being bent on getting powerful crystal that will let him conquer the video world. Oh boy. I do like the voice acting for Elvis and Elvis's bride.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. The plot itself, it reminds me, and I know people are probably going to kill me for saying this, but it reminded me of oh god, what's that villain? Hell, you'll probably kill me when I say this. What is Venger from?
Venger, from Dungeons and Dragons.
That's exactly what this reminded me of. Big scary villain against these two feuding things, and the end team is the dragon hunters or whatever. It just, I don't know. I didn't really, like. I wish we had a little bit more of the villain with this plot, like a little twist of maybe he, it says somewhere that he's, he did this because they outcasted him or something or else, but it doesn't like really expand on that in the plot. Yeah. And I get it. I already said in this episode of the podcast, these plots aren't that deep, but a little bit more would have been nice.
I actually had that written down in my notes. Like, literally, kind of reminds me of Venger from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're gonna go grab the power pads in a moment.
Oh no!
We're locked out.
I could get voted out of the Hall of Heroes if this gets out.
Do you have any more gold coins, Your Majesty?
Not enough to buy another key, even if that ripoff artist was still hanging around. Why?
You'll see. Surprise!
A competition between these two will surely crown me the winner. At last I will have my revenge on both dwarf and elf for ousting me from the world tree.
Alright, put those power pads down. A blue Elvis, but there's no blue Hawaii. I do love that Lana is the voice of reason, only if Kevin would actually listen to her. But that's one of the things that'll come up later, is that, oh my god, it takes Lana to be the voice of reason. That was a mega trick Mega Man did with creating that second key.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I should have seen that coming. It landed in the mud. There had to be a reason for it to do that. And then when he did it, I'm like, oh, yeah.
And then, of course, only Mega Man could get a line like this off. And then, of course, the song comes up. Let's get a mega move on. And then guess what plays?
I wanted to punch the screen when he did that.
I thought it was hilarious. Again, I don't think I can go a single episode of this podcast that we're going to talk about Captain N that I do not say I absolutely love the music in this series. Oh man, what did you like about this one?
I don't have anything. I don't have anything written down. I just couldn't find anything. I mean, I guess it was kind of funny in spots, but
yeah.
But I didn't really have anything that really grabbed me.
All right, well, we're gonna go get zapped by Neil after this.
Come to Papa.
I'm gonna settle this nonsense once and for all. I'll find the crystal.
Lana, wait for us.
After those pointy-eared sneak thieves!
Oh, I hope the ring is leading us in the right direction.
Yeah, on a road to nowhere.
Maybe it's for the best that you forget about the Crystal King, Malthus.
And leave it to the dwarves to find? Never!
The guru was right. The ruby ring does move a mountain.
Okay! The crystal must be inside.
Out of my way!
Oh, no, you don't.
Look out!
Come on, we better get inside before something worse happens.
All right, let's get zapped. You know, I mentioned in the Power Pads section that I like that Lana is the voice of reason here.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, come on, Kevin, get over this whole team defeat thing. And Simon, just, stop fawning over the princess. You'll never have her. Never. I will say that while I liked some of the characters in this episode, I'm so sick and tired of the traditional Hatfield and McCoy warring faction plot.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I say that, and I like Transformers. Don't get me wrong. There's a big difference between a blue Elvis and a green version of Madam Mim than there is in a 4 million year long war between giant robots. But and of course, I state the obvious here. Don't they know that by not working together, that they'll lead the true villains to find everything? And see, that was the thing that really kind of screwed with me with this episode. Is you've got the elves and the dwarves who are fighting with each other, and then you've got this big bad who is the real villain. And it's like, because these elves and dwarves can't get along, they're going to screw everything. Oh, God.
Right.
Okay, during the challenge to get the ruby ring, Kevin hits the pause button, but nothing actually froze. And then, guess what they do? They turn this into a fucking Captain Planet episode.
I'm gonna make a Captain Planet joke in my.
You can, yeah, but I mean, like, go ahead.
Let me actually get it out here. The evil one, I guess he is just called the evil one.
Yes.
He obtained the crystal that had the powers of earth, wind, water, and fire. And to counter this, I guess the N team had the power of heart.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Oh, God. You know, it's too bad Lana didn't have a different outfit that was nothing but straps around her naked body, because then she could have been the fifth element.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. All right. Anything else you want to bring up about this one?
You know, just to expand upon what I said at the top of this, is the way they adapt these games. Sometimes it's like they take the bare framework of what the game is, and they'll kind of gloss over like the real heart of the game, and they'll be like, oh, well, it's about finding coins and finding elemental crystals, and like there's like 1,000 RPGs that are like that. And, like, this could have been like a Final Fantasy episode. They could have changed the evil one to chaos, and it would have been Final Fantasy. I mean, for Christ's sake. And the other thing is, I have one big negative note is that they mispronounced the name of the game. I think I explained this before. Is like the Famicom is the Japanese version of the NES, and
Right.
Faxanadu is literally the Famicom version of Xanadu. Faxanadu. So, and I guess it's one of those translation notes that like didn't really. They kind of missed, I guess, and I think most people who play the game also missed it. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Apparently so. All right. We're going to move on to the final episode of the day after this.
Midnight in the enchanted kingdom of Hyrule. A time for sweet dreams ever since the defeat of the evil wizard Ganon. And Princess Zelda's return to the throne. And Link's restoration of the Triforce. An ancient treasure made up of the Triforce of Power, the Triforce of Wisdom, and the Triforce of Courage. Together, they are the greatest source of magical energy on Hyrule, and the greatest temptation to those who hunger to possess them.
And finally up today, we are having a ball. Mother Brain fires Eggplant Wizard and King Hippo for failing to capture the Triforce. So they steal the Triforce pieces for themselves while Link and Zelda are away at Lana's royal ball. Okay, so a couple of questions. I've played like maybe 2 of the beginning levels of Zelda 2. I've never ever gone very deep into that game. Is the Triforce now like what it is in this episode, where it's like, I know the Triforce of Wisdom in the old series was tied to Zelda a little bit, but like in here, it's like physically linked to her. Was it like that in the game, or?
Not that I know of. I mean, you're asking kind of a loaded question here, because like Zelda 2 has like a weird plot that it's like the Zelda that's asleep in Zelda 2 isn't the Zelda from Zelda 1. And it's like, okay, now there's this third Triforce that we never heard of before called the Triforce of Courage. Mm-hmm. And this is where like the tattoo on the hand starts. Like in the instruction manual for Zelda 2, you'll see Link looking at his hand. It's got the Triforce symbol on it, like it does in later games. So this is where the Triforce started to change from like a physical object to being the connection between Ganon, Zelda, and Link. So already it's like the definition of what the Triforce is starting to morph. So it wasn't like that in. I don't think it was like that in Zelda 2, although I didn't get very far just because that game is a bitch.
Yeah.
I really don't like that game.
I really like this one. I thought this one was really, really endearing. You have Lana, who is kind of reminiscing. She misses the old days. She misses the way it used to be. And I will say, for once, she has I don't know if it's so much affection, but she has more to do with Simon than she does with Kevin in the first part of this episode, because she basically walks off with Simon in the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you said he's never going to get Lana, I was thinking, well, wait a minute, he kind of almost did.
Yeah, almost. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. I like that they're going to do this whole Royal Ball thing and basically invite everyone from Videoland. I think that's a really cool thing. And, this episode reminds me of Heavy Metal War.
In a way.
Well, okay, sure. No one's fighting in this, but in Heavy Metal War for the Transformers G1 series, Optimus and Megatron are battling. All their factions are watching, except for the Constructicons, who are digging under to get out. I almost said Alpha Trion. Holy crap. Teletran 1. But no, having a ball. I like the plot. I think it's a nice little plot. Any other thoughts on the plot?
Well, I like that there were cameos from earlier episodes. There was Bayou Billy awesome. Showed up, and it's kind of squint, but I think one of them was the guy from the Congo Land episode.
Oh yeah,
kind of witch doctor guy.
Oh yeah.
And on the note of cartoons that this reminds me of, it actually reminded me of the Triple Changer episode of Transformers, where Astro Train and Blitzwing, they freeze Megatron and Starscream, and I don't know what it was, but they basically take over, and that's
Triple takeover,
yeah, triple takeover. That's the episode where Blitzwing takes over like a football field, and
Astro Train takes over a train station.
Yeah, it's basically like them running the show in their kind of lame way.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me of The Moblins Are Revolting.
A little bit, yes. I'm really surprised in this plot that they did not have some sort of hint towards Ganon at all. I'm really, really surprised.
Although they did mention him.
They didn't mention him, yes, but like I would have liked to see if he shown up again. But all right, we're gonna get to the power pads.
Another log.
Well, at least you didn't find it falling on your head.
Okay, so I made a slight miscalculation. Get off my back!
You got the magic spell Mother Brain gave you?
Of course I got it! This ain't it! Laundry list, fortune cookie, fortune, letter from Mama. Hey, no problem, I memorized it.
You know, if we mess this up, Mother Brain will squash the both of us.
Not if I squash you first. Newt of frog and wing of quail. Or was it snoot of hog and eye of snail?
What's going on?
That's the last time I get up for an alarm malfunction. It makes 3 times this week.
Well, what can we do about it?
Well, I'm going to sleep. You're going to organize the sentries to guard the Triforce. Night-night.
Perfect! She turned off your alarm! Sentries, ha! The Triforce is as good as mine! Once I get rid of you potato heads, that is!
Alright, put those power pads down right off the bat. Something I've been missing from the previous 2 episodes today is no narrator in the beginning for Faxanadu and the other one. And the narrator is back in this, so that's interesting. And so we know that this Zelda and Link are the same Zelda and Link from the original series. Right. They're their own series. So we know that in Captain N, they've aged a number of years or whatever, like a number of years have passed. And it seems to me throughout all the Zelda episodes that we've seen in this series so far that Zelda and Link, they're kind of together. They might just be going steady. I don't know.
He actually gets a kiss in this episode.
That's my point. He gets a kiss and he doesn't say anything. Nothing. Like he made a whole hoopla about all 26 episodes of the Zelda series. Begging. She actually kisses him without him asking at all, and he doesn't say a damn thing.
Well, he was probably thinking about like arranging his posture so as to hide whatever anatomical
sword trick he was pulling. Yeah,
because that's what I would be doing.
Yes. I kind of feel bad for Eggplant Wizard and King Hippo because Mother Brain just fires them. I know this would never happen because this cartoon came out before this this trend in wrestling happened, but I was half expecting a "kiss my ass, you're fired" club. The whole time I'm watching the scene with Eggplant and Hippo about getting the Triforce versus eating, all as I can think of is the sign on the back of the car said "Critters of Hollywood, you dumb fuck." So we have a Jay and Silent Bob reference, and we then go back to 1985, almost 30 years ago, because Kevin does the Marty McFly, Johnny Be Good on stage.
Yeah.
With the guitar. And as I asked you in the beginning, I will say this here. It's interesting that they bonded Zelda and the Triforce. I thought that was an interesting thing. I don't know why... See, this is why I wanted Ganon to show up, for exactly what you told me, that Zelda is wisdom, Ganon is power, and Link is courage. I would have thought that it would have affected all three of them in some way, shape, or form. All in all, I love this episode. It was very fun. What about you?
This is actually a better Zelda episode than the first one. This was... I liked the first one, but it was a little... I don't know. It wasn't quite as entertaining as this one. This one was just funny because of King Hippo and Eggplant Wizard almost succeeding.
Yes.
And I love... God, there's so many funny moments in this. It's like I love the kick line that Eggplant Wizard was in with the oranges, the orange ladies.
Oh, those are oranges? I thought they were tomatoes. But
Well,
okay.
whatever. But
yeah, no, that's not.
The point is that was hilarious. And I also love when, for the whole episode, because she's connected to the Triforce, Zelda is she's kind of out of breath, she's losing power, and then immediately once the Triforce is connected once more, she comes back to life. She's like, "Out of my kingdom now!" It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh my god, what? I'm trying to remember everything because I didn't write down everything that was funny, but I know there were other things that I enjoyed here. God, it was just way too funny. This is probably the best episode of the series so far.
Yeah, and I'll say, outside of the quibbling, outside of the men need to pronounce their manliness in Potion of Power, I still say I love Potion of Power was really awesome. But yeah, no, this is a very, very awesome episode. Neither one of us have any zapped moments, so we are going to take a quick break. You're going to hear some ads and some other stuff, and we'll come back with final ratings after this.
Princess Zelda of Hyrule and, Link.
That's so beautiful.
Zelda, I'm so glad you could come.
Wouldn't have missed it. Seems like eons since we could relax and just have fun.
You look ridiculous.
You too. I'm not cut out for this.
Now we can open the ball.
I don't know how to dance that stuff.
Then it's time you learned.
Sheesh. Princesses.
Link and Zelda are here.
Then let's beat it. I'm starved.
May I have this dance?
Okay, but only a short one. I have places to go. Hey, get over here, will you? Help me bag these gizmos.
It's Mama Brain. Let's get out of here.
Alright, so before we close out, we'll each be ranking the episodes on a 0 to 5 boomerang scale. Boomerang scale was from Zelda. Whoops. Zapper scale. There we go. I use a zapper. For me, with Once Upon a Time Machine, I give it a 4. I mean, I enjoyed it a little bit more than I thought I was going to. It was nice for the time to see other villains outside of Mother Brain. What about you?
I'll give it a 3. It wasn't a bad episode. It was just kind of, it didn't really connect with me, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. The Feud episode. What are we giving the Feud episode?
I guess I'll give it a 2.
I'm right there with you. I don't think, even though in the back of my mind there are a couple of Captain Planet episodes that I do enjoy, I cannot get over them doing a Captain Planet reference with the crystal. I just can't get over that. Have a ball. Do we even need to ask? It's 5.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5.
Straight 5.
I think this is probably my first 5 on this show.
Might be. I don't know. Maybe one of our diehard listeners can go back and collect all of our ratings. All right, so that's going to do it this time around. You got anything you want to pimp out?
Just Dasien.com, DASIEN.com. I'm dropping no super pants because it's coming up due, and I'm like, I don't want to renew it. I'm ending that version of the site anyway, so... Even though I explained why I have it, I'm like, I'll let it go.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. TV's Mr. Neil is dropping his super pants. Hey, you walked right into that. Thank you for joining us here on Pixels Animation. As always, get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on each and every episode post. Email us, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Thank you again to the iTunes reviewers, as always. Follow us on Twitter, @GeekCastRadio is the network Twitter. Mine is TFJone. Mike, what is your Twitter?
Neil Sama.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out Dasien Comic is how it's the fan page set up for that, or is it just... Okay. And Neil's Classic Gaming. Maybe this episode has inspired him to go back to Zelda 2 and do screen caps. I highly doubt it, but...
I think I already did all the funny ones that are from that game. I am Error.
Wow. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Pixels the Animation, which you will join us next time. We'll be reviewing 3 more episodes from Captain and the Game Master Season 2, those being the Trojan Dragon. Oh, what a large condom that's going to be. I Wish I Was a Wombat Man, and the Invasion of the Paper Peddlers. For now, I am TFJone Mike with...
We have TV's Mr. Neil.
Tune in next time to help us find the pixels in the animation.
Let's go to work.
Batman.
What are you waiting for? Use your wombat rope.
Are you kidding? I haven't done that stunt in years.
The door's closing. We'll never make it in time.
Wombat roll.
You never showed me how it gets.
Just follow my lead. You've rolled your last marble, Mother Brain.